Hiya, it's Amanda here from Lolli Lulu Crafts, and today I'm going to be making an Easter card with you. I've got this fabulous stamp and die set from Simon Says Stamp, and it's a really nice set, but you can, as with most of Simon Says Stamp's sets, you can buy them individually. Now the card itself was inspired by a card that I saw on the Simon Says Stamp site. As far as I can see, there was no note on there as to who did it, the card, so I can't really give any more information and credit to that person, but you will find it on there. But I thought I would like to have a go and make my own version of it, so let's get going. Okay, so I have here a piece of Simon Says Stamp cardstock. I have taken that, I've cut it in half, sort of along the longer side, and then I've scored that in half to create a card that is 5.5 by 4.25. So I'm just going to do my inside one here first. So the first layer I've actually got is this lovely lavender colour, and that is as with the yellow, is an American Crafts piece of card, and I've basically just taken it 1/8 of an inch down on all, and then stick that first layer down, stick that down, and this white piece is then another 1/8 of an inch down. Okay, so now I'm going to get my stamps and my acrylic block, and I'm going to put on the inside this little Easter message here, may the peace of the Lord be with you, and then I'm going to also add the little fish there, and because we're on the inside and it's the lavender, I'm going to use my lavender. It's actually the colour box Violet, and it's pigment ink. There we go, beautiful. Let me bring that up so you can see. Isn't that gorgeous? And it matches perfectly to our... And then I'm going to use this distress ink in mustard seed. I think it'll be dark enough just to still show on the yellow card. There we go, yes, see, so it's dark enough that you can still see, but it's still yellow, so it's nice. And because of the texture on the cardstock, you get a texture in your stamping. So now, at the moment, until I die cut that piece, we've finished with the inside. So I now need this piece here, and we're going to do some stamping onto there. So the first one I want really, I think, is this really lovely big cross, and that I'm going to do in my lavender, but I'm going to do it in the paler one, which is Heliotrope, still the colour box. Okay, and then I'm going to take my cross and I'm going to stamp that down. That look lovely. It's a really nice, even though it's a solid stamp, it comes out really nicely. Okay, so now we want this lovely cross here. It's the one with the lovely sort of border around it, nice and square. And for this one, I am going to be doing it in my darker of my yellow inks, so that will be my distress ink, and that is mustard seed. And then I'm just going to turn that over, and I'm going to stamp this just kind of underneath, and then just pull that down. And then I want this gorgeous one here, just a simple cross. And for this one, I'm actually going to use my colour box ink again, but this time I'm going to be using the yellow, and it's Sunflower, and I want it to just be about here. Isn't that lovely? That's a really nice colour actually as well. Look how that's come out. And then we want this lovely cute little cross here that's got, it's kind of a gothic look to it, and again I'm going to be doing that in the Sunflower. I think I might actually do a mixture of the sunflower and the distress ink on this one just to give it a little bit more darkness. So I'm going to put the sunflower on first, and then I'm going to get my distress ink and just go over the top. I use this pulling that across, and so it's just giving that nice effect. I know that's come out really nicely, excuse me. You can see again we've got that kind of two-tone effect, and it's kind of cool. I like that. Next we want this lovely circle with the cross in it. So this is the violet, but actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the heliotrope on first, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of the violet kind of around the cross area. Oh, look at that. That's stunning. Look at the different shading on that. That cross has come out beautiful. So crisp. Okay. And then the last cross I want is this one just down the bottom corner here. And this is going to be in the yellow. And then bonk it down there. Like so. So that was our last cross. That can go off for a minute to dry for a second. And what I'll do is I'm going to cut out my little fish here and my Easter, because then I can position my other stamp sentiment, because I'll have this piece of card there ready to be able to know. So I've got my little fish die, so I'm going to put him down. I've got my Sizzix machine here, Big Shot. I've got my magnetic plate, then my acrylic mat or plate, whatever you want to call it. Then I've got my paper. Then I'm putting my die face down, so that it obviously cuts into the paper. The reason I did the paper first and the die face down is because I want to see where I've stamped, so I can position that. I'm going to put my Easter down, so then I put my last plate on top and just wind that through. Oops, as you can see, that went through just fine. And there we've got my little fish, which looks adorable. So, didn't need to put it through, just need to give it a wallop. Now Easter is in 2 halves by the looks of it, which is kind of weird, but oops, and then the other halves come out. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so I've just brought the inside of the card back so that I can just put my little fish down. So I'm just going to take a little bit of my Cosmic Shimmer and just literally put a tiny bit on the back of the little die cut, and then pop that down in the corner there, and I think that just finishes that off nicely. It brings the yellow to the inside, but also that lovely symbol. And then all I'm doing here is I'm just putting this kind of where I think it will be sitting when I position it, so that I can then determine where I want to put my sentiment. So that would be kind of there, maybe, roughly. So then I'm going to get my little blessings sentiment, and that's going to sit about there. Okay, so that is going to be done in my lovely sunshine yellow. There we go. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, so that's it for the stamping. And then now I have one more bit of die cutting to do, and I think that looks good. Okay, so then I'm going to put my plate over the top to finalise that sandwich, and then just run that through the machine. Okay, so that's die cut through. As I say, you really only need to put it through once. These dies work really well. Okay, so we've brought everything back in now. We need our cards, so we're going to fold that over. I've got my lemon layer. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is put that down. I'm going to just lay that flat for a minute because I think that'll be easier. So I'm just going to take my Cosmic Shimmer glue again and then just layer that down. Okay, so then we've got our layer here that we had, and it's got our gorgeous stamping on it. So the first bit we're going to sit down flat. So again, using my Cosmic Shimmer and then just popping that down in position. And again, we've just got that nice narrow border of lemon. Then we've got our cross, and for that I'm going to be using my glue gel just to give it some dimension. Okay, then we're going to just very carefully flip that over, and I'm just going to turn this to the side just so it's easier to do, and then I'm just going to gently position that. Okay, so there's our like 3D element there. Isn't that lovely? Doesn't that look really effective? Okay, so I cut the Easter out again in the purple, and I don't know if you can catch it, but I've actually layered it up slightly offset with the purple behind, just to give it almost like a shadow effect, a slightly 3D effect, and I think it made it pop off the page just a little bit more. So we've got our card, and then that's going to kind of sit obviously in a more upright, but that's going to sit like that, and that definitely just makes that come off the card a bit, and it brings all the colours together, I think. So what I need to do is get my glue gel and start to make it 3D. So take that, pop that so the T is on my cross there, and then just taking my little blade, I'm just gently pushing that. So now all we need to do is let that dry. This card obviously is not as post-proof as some of my cards, because that Easter is a little bit more squashable because there's not as much behind it, but I think that it's worth that because it just looks so effective. So I really want to bring out the yellow. The purple's very strong, but I really, I want to have the yellow strong as well in. So the way to do that is just to add, have more yellow than purple perhaps, or just emphasize that yellow in a different way. So I'm going to put some little pearls in the yellow. I think that looks so pretty. I love little pearls. Okay, so I've got my Wink of Stella, and I'm just going to very carefully just go over the word Easter. Okay, so there it is. Let me just show you. Hopefully you can catch the glisten in the light here. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I think that just adds just a little emphasis to the word Easter, just to make it pop even more, and I think that just looks so pretty. So here is our finished card. So I hope you've enjoyed making this card with me, and I will see you again soon. And don't forget to go across to the corresponding blog for this video. The link will be in the paragraph below the video if you're on YouTube, and there'll be lots of pictures and there'll be all the information about the products used. Okay, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!